everyone and welcome back to the Algerian Football Show, where we take the top stories of Algerian football and discuss them every Sunday night in English. I hope you're all good and doing well. The football's coming every week now, things are getting back to normal. The fans are back inside the stadiums and it's great to be back. Thanks for all of you guys for watching so far and all of your comments. Thanks for all the feedback. Yes, I am looking to improve the show, I'm looking to improve the sound, I'm looking to improve the background, so look out for that very soon. Improvements are being made, inshallah. But today we've got a few players and a few stories to talk about as ever, so let's dive straight into it. And Mr. Riyad Mahrez, well, it's always him in the headlines, isn't it? Mahrez from Manchester City. Yes, he scored a great goal in their 5-0 win against Norwich, but a lot of the top story for Algerians was that Mahrez was on the bench against Norwich, and a lot of Algerians were very disappointed to see Mahrez on the bench. And I think it's come to the stage now where we have to accept that Pep Guardiola is going to rotate every single week. And it's not just Mahrez, he does it with Sterling, Bernardo Silva, Sane back in the day when Sane was there. De Bruyne didn't play, I think he was injured. But it does seem like Mahrez, Sterling and Torres are all going to be rotated quite a lot this season. I think Bernardo Silva might leave, which is obviously good for Mahrez. Then you throw in Jack Grealish as well, and Jack Grealish is another attacking player. And when you pay £100 million for a player, it's very hard to leave him out of the starting lineup. So, of course, Phil Foden's got to come back as well. So there's a lot of competition for Mahrez. But what we need to focus on is him staying fit, him getting regular minutes. And when Man City are playing in the Champions League and in the Cups, they'll be having 2 to 3 games every week. So we need Mahrez to stay fit ahead of that Africa Cup of Nations. Of course, he's in good shape going into these World Cup qualifiers. He scored in their 5-0 win. It's good to see him come on and make an impact. I think that will stick in Pep Guardiola's mind. He played the game against Tottenham where he started at Tottenham Stadium, and he had that big chance that he missed. Perhaps that was why Mahrez was dropped. But in this game, I think Mahrez has one of the best first touches in world football. His first touch is world class, brilliant finish to make it 5-0 against Norwich. He's now scored in 8 Premier League seasons in a row, so what a legend. Even at 30, he's still doing the business. So great to see Riyad Mahrez on the score sheet, but I want to see him play in the big games. We saw in the Champions League last season how good was Mahrez in the knockout stages of that competition. He deserved to win it, and the only game he really didn't turn up in was the final. Of course, he got to start that game. So Pep Guardiola has shown faith in him. Mahrez had a great pre-season with the 3 goals in the 3 friendlies, and then he played the Community Shield, but he was surrounded by a lot of the Man City youngsters. A lot of Man City's players starting to come back into the team now, and I hope Mahrez is going to be a big part of that. I want to see him link up with Grealish and De Bruyne, and maybe Harry Kane if he comes in, because I think they could be deadly together. So Manchester City, 5-0 win, their first win of the season. Riyad Mahrez's first goal of the season, so 1 goal in 2 Premier League games for Mahrez. And another player who's on fire, like he is every season to be honest, Mr. Andy Delort is at it again, this time with Montpellier. 1 goal and 1 assist. Montpellier came from 1-0 down to beat Lorient 3-1 in Ligue 1. Montpellier's first win of the season, and Andy Delort, of course, he's the captain of Montpellier, been linked to a move away. I've seen West Ham, Nice, Marseille, Lyon, all been linked. I think it shows how good Delort is that he's linked with those clubs. I mean, Delort is one of the best strikers in Ligue 1. He's got really good pace, great heading ability. You've seen his 2 goals this season in 3 games. Both goals have been bullet headers, like Slimani headers. Now, you look at Delort compared to Slimani. Delort has the heading ability. We saw for Algeria, he scored that goal against Zimbabwe a few months ago, and he's also got pace. And when you combine those 2 things, it's what Slimani's missing, because Slimani doesn't have pace. Delort, absolutely fantastic header, and the assist as well. It shows his link-up play. The assist was fantastic as well. Now, this could be controversial. I think it's time Delort starts for Algeria over Bounedjah. Now, Bounedjah is great in qualifiers. I mean, if Delort starts those qualifiers, he scores as well. The problem is Delort hasn't started enough games for Algeria. He missed the 3 friendlies recently because he was injured, he was part of the squad, then he had to withdraw. I'm sure he would have scored if he was involved. Now Bounedjah, right, I'll tell you about Bounedjah. He went to AFCON 2019, he was the main striker. He scored 2 goals. He scored 1 against Kenya, and was it a penalty? And he scored that fluky goal in the final, which took a massive deflection. I know it wasn't an own goal, but he did take a massive deflection. Apart from that, he had a poor tournament. He missed the penalty against Ivory Coast, which led to the penalty shootout. Of course, he was crying about it, we got away with it. Delort was one of the players to score his penalty in the shootout. If we play Andy Delort up front, I think it offers us a whole new dimension, and it scares the other African defences. And I think going into a World Cup, if you want to get to a quarter-final or a semi-final, you've got to play Delort over Bounedjah. Now, the problem is with Bounedjah, against the lesser teams, he does score goals, and Delort is unproven on the African scene. But I think when you're playing at home, Delort surely deserves a start. So when we play Djibouti, I'd love for Delort to get called up and to start a game. Just see how it goes. He might score a hat-trick, he might not, but try something new. I think it's fair to say the three strikers Belmadi is going to take to the AFCON is Delort, Bounedjah and Slimani. The question is, what order are they in the pecking order? Who's going to play? Now, of course, we won the cup with Bounedjah up front, and I think what gets Bounedjah the starting position is that his relationship with Youssouf Belaili, of course, they're both from Oran, their relationship is crucial, and I think their link-up is what makes them so well together. I think Belaili would be worse without Bounedjah, which is maybe why you don't see Benrahma as much as we'd like. Now, Benrahma's had a fantastic start to the season. Again, him and Belaili have got to be fighting for that left wing spot. It's going to be hard for Brahimi to get his way in, but I think Delort has shown 3 Liga games, he's been involved in 3 goals, 2 goals and 1 assist. You know what you get with Delort, you're guaranteed goals, and I think why not play him? Because he's a top player, he wants to play for Algeria, why not use him? Unfortunately though, again, there's a lot of players born in France and we don't always get all of them. And Amine Gouiri, the striker for Nice, Amine Gouiri, has said he wants to play for France. And I think he's a bit silly, because is Gouiri really going to play in that France team? He's got Mbappe, Benzema, Giroud, Martial, Lacazette, all these strikers. Gouiri thinks he's going to play ahead of those and not play for Algeria. Well, Gouiri's basically rejected Algeria and said he'd rather wait for a France call-up. Now, Gouiri could come in 6-7 years' time and say, actually, can I play for Algeria now? I don't think so, mate. You've made the decision. And this is where we've got to be careful if we lose these talents, because like we talk about Delort, he's 29, he's nearly 30. We talk about Slimani, he's over 30. We need strikers for the future. Now, they're hyping up this guy Amoura, who plays in the Algerian league, he's on his way to Switzerland to play in the Swiss league. We don't know if he's going to be good enough. We'd love him to be great, but we don't know if he's going to be good enough. A player like Gouiri is ready-made talent. We missed out on him, but how many more French-Algerian talents are we going to miss out on? Because there's the likes of Rayan Cherki, Rayan Aït-Nouri. These are players we need. And even the ones that aren't as popular. Look at someone like Hakim Zededka, playing for Clermont in Liga, 7 points out of 9. Zededka's been fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Got promoted to Clermont, started the first 3 games, they've got 7 points from 9, now unbeaten. And Zededka would be perfect backup to Youssef Attal. Mehdi Zafan's not the youngest anymore. I think Zededka is a real player. And even at left back, we've got some real injury concerns. Now, Rami Bensebaini did come on in the Bundesliga at the weekend against Leverkusen. It was a terrible result, but he did actually come off with a knock again. And if we have an injury to Bensebaini, that means at left back we've got Bensebaini injured, Fares injured, Goulam's got his dodgy knee. We're going to be stuck with Abdellaoui. When there's players like Yanis Hamash at Boavista, the likes of Yasser Laroussi, the likes of Rayan Aït-Nouri, these options at left back, we should be going and getting them, because back a few years ago, I don't know if you guys remember, we had this guy in the FA, Mohamed Marawa. He's the one who went to the French under-21 team. He got Yassin Brahimi, he got Sofiane Feghouli, he got Fawzi Goulam to play from the France under-21s to Algeria. So yes, it's possible, but you've got to make the effort. You've got to sit down with their families. And you look at what Tunisia have done, getting Hannibal Mejbri from Manchester United. They've got the defender Rekik from Arsenal's academy. You've got to go and sit down with these players and make the effort. You can't just pick up the phone. Now, we know what happened with Aouar. We're not going to waste time on Aouar anymore. And Aouar looks like he's having a terrible season. But we've got some players out there, like you look at Zerouki and Touba. These players are capable of playing for top clubs one day. So why not take the risk, go and sit down with them and get them on board. And by the way, Zerouki had a great game at the weekend against Ajax. 1-1 draw for 20 against Ajax. Zerouki looks a real player, and I think Zerouki, Benasser and Feghouli has got real promise as a midfield trio. But anyway, yes, the Algeria squad will probably be coming next week, we hope. It's always late, the Algeria squad. It's going to be interesting. We'll have a video, inshallah, on the Algeria squad when Belmadi does release it. I think Bulgaria's local team have got a couple of friendlies, but we're focusing on Algeria's 2 World Cup qualifiers coming up at the beginning of September. So next week we hope to discover the Algeria squad. But that's it for this week's Algerian football show. Plenty of other Algerians to talk about, I'm sure, but we haven't got time. Subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.